Thanks, man. Hi. When I was 13, we didn't have a great deal of money, and I wanted things. I wanted treats. I wanted, at the time, this was the mid-'70s, and I wanted Nike sneakers. And coincidentally, they were almost like this, except white with the red swoosh. And my mother said, "You have sneakers. You don't need other sneakers." And I said, "Well, I'll get a job." And my mom's like, "You can't get a job. You're 13 years old." And my dad goes, "Well, you want a job?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd love a job." So a couple days later, I got a job. I was deadheading plants at a nursery close by when I was like 13. And I got paid under the table, you know, whatever it was. But the job I wanted was at the swimming pool. I wanted to be a lifeguard. I wanted chicks. I wanted everything. You know, I wanted the life. I was 14 or 15 by then. So I go to the pool and they go, "No, you can't get a job here for the summer because you're not old enough to be a lifeguard." But they said, "You can work in the concession stand." And I'm like, okay. I didn't know what the concession stand was. They're like, "The food stand." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll work in the food stand. That sounds great." So I go home and I got to get working papers. So I go to the doctor. They give me the turn and cough and everything. They give me the thing. I have working papers now. I can take my job, the great job I've been waiting for at the pool, the Palmyra pool, by the way. I don't know, like 20 miles from here. So I show up the first day. Pull up in my bike, I'm ready to go. I can make sure I got the right shorts and everything I wear. I got my sneakers on. And I go in, and they're getting ready to open. And the manager of the concession stand is this beady-eyed, flat-top guy. And he goes, "Yeah, Bomgardner." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Are you a new kid?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "All right." I goes, "I need you to run a little chore for me." He goes, "Can you run out and get me a left-handed almond slicer?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go." He goes, "Good, go get that." So I get on my bike and I go to the store and I go in the grocery store and I'm looking around, I'm asking people, no left-handed almond slicer. I go back and he's like, "Where'd you go?" I said, I went to the Giant store. I don't know if it was a Giant back then. He goes, "You went to the grocery store?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Go to the hardware store," which is the whole friggin' way across town. And I'm like, I want to do a good job, you know, because I want stuff, you know. So I go, "All right." So I get on my bike and I go to the hardware store and they go, "Yeah, we don't have any left-handed almond slicers." They go, "Did you check the grocery store?" And I'm like, yeah. So now I'm like, I can't believe it. So I get on my bike, I go back and I see him and I go, I don't know what his name was, Mr. Mooney or something. I go, "Mr. Mooney, there's no left-handed almond slicers at the hardware store." And he goes, "Are you good for anything? Can you do anything here?" And I go, "Well, I thought I could serve food or something." And he goes, "Yeah, well, we're trying to open." So I stand around, I'm trying to be good, and a couple minutes later he goes, "All right," he goes, "We got a busted fan over there. I need you to go get something for that." And I go, "All right." So I go over and look at the fan. He goes, and he's looking at the plug. He goes, "Yeah, we got to replace this plug." So he cuts it off and he goes, "All right," and he throws it out. He goes, "You got to go get a new plug for this fan." And I go, "Okay." And I go, "The hardware store, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, I go to the hardware store." So I get on my bike, I ride back down to the hardware store, and I'm like, "I need a plug." And he's like, "Grounded?" And I go, "Yeah, I don't know." He goes, "What's it for?" I said, "It's for a fan, and I want to do a good job, you know?" So he gives me a plug, and I go back, and he looks at me and he goes, "All right, you know how to put this thing on, right?" And I'm looking at it because I go, yeah, I know how to put it on. And I'm looking at the directions, and it's one of these things that you pull the bottom off and you slide the wire in. So I do this, and I'm like, now I'm doing a good job, you know. I put it in, a thing, and I'm like, I got it, check it out, I got it, you know. And I'm about to plug it in, and he goes, whoa. What are you doing? I said, "I'm going to plug it in." He goes, "Do you know which way did you fix it so it goes in the right way?" And I go, "I think so." He goes, "Bomgardner, if you put that wire in the wrong way and you plug that in, the fan spins backwards and comes apart." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah." And he's looking at me and I go, "All right." He goes, "Listen." He puts his arm around me. He goes, "Tell you what I'm going to do." He goes, "Let me get a marker." So he gets a marker, and he goes, tell you what you do. He goes, when I said go, you plug that in. And he goes, if it looks like it's going the right way, we'll pull it out, and we'll mark the top with blue, and that'll be the top that goes in when you. And I'm like, okay, that sounds good. And so I'm ready. And he's over there, he's looking at the fan, he's like, okay, you ready? And I go, yeah. I put it in, he turns on, he goes, okay, pull it out quick. And I go, pull it out, and he goes, all right, we'll mark that with blue. He goes, that's a pretty good day for you, I think. Thanks.